Hey there, webmates. It's Mr. E Reviews Stuff. I'm sorry that it looks like I'm coming back to StarFleet Academy. I didn't expect to be reviewing them again so quickly. I will try to include some visual aids for those that seem to need them. So this is a story about the Klingons. The Klingons have an existential crisis that they're suffering from or whatever, and then let's see, and that's the Klingon that's in what's it called, Starfleet Academy, and that was actually from the current video. This is a Lanthanite, and she is like 400 years old or over 400 years old. Because I mean, she talks about things that happened 400 years before, but growing up in it. But then it's like, was she like 5 at the time or what? And then this fool comes into play as well. He's like the head of Starfleet, and she's in here. She's a Jem'Hadar and half Jem'Hadar, half Klingon. And so again, it's about the Klingons, and they're let's see. It has a lot to do with Kronos or Kronos. Those that watched the earlier Star Treks, it was Kronos, Kronos, and then it became Qo apostrophe No capital S or something like that, and it just weird. Anyway, apparently Kronos, I'll call it Kronos, thank you. Kronos had some crisis back in the burn, and the Klingons all had to leave, so they were homeless. And the Federation comes up with something that, oh hey, we found this planet on our in our Federation space, and it's just like Kronos. And they tell the Klingons about it, and the Klingons like, okay, well, we don't care, we don't want it, whatever. And there's and the crisis stems from that. And I'm not going to give you too much spoilers on this because it's like, if you want to watch it and you want to enjoy it, I want you to be able to do that. But from my point of view, I heard what this crisis was, and I heard the reasons why the Klingons weren't going to take that planet, and it just occurred to my brain. I said, well, they're Klingons, and this should happen, and they'll take the planet. And well, the episode goes on and on and on and blah blah blah. We find out that we knew this earlier, that the Klingon is more of a healer than a warrior. So, but it goes into his background and his family and this and that and the other thing, and talks about the Jem'Hadar Klingon's house or whatever for a minute or two. All nice and well. And then the whole time I'm thinking, why don't they just do this and this will take care of it? Well, it turns out they had to have this guy. They had to have this guy tell this guy and this gal what they have to do. And the episode ends doing exactly what I thought was going to happen. So it's like the writers are treating us like we're stupid, because they're saying, oh yeah, people that are going to watch this for the first time, they don't know anything about Klingons, and so they're going to pay attention and they'll learn something in this episode and whatever. But it's 60 years that Star Trek has been around now, and I've been watching it for, I don't know, since the 1970s. The rerun, the original series reruns, and then Star Trek: The Next Generation, and Voyager, and Deep Space Nine, and Enterprise, and then yes, I watched Discovery, and I've watched Strange New Worlds, and whatever. And at one point they talk about that Kronos, this existential crisis. They talked about them blowing it up. It's like, well, Praxis, the moon that we knew about this in the Undiscovered Country, the movie, that the moon of Kronos, that blew up, or part of it blew up, and it made the air in Kronos uninhabitable for 50 years. But that was only 50 years. This is now some 600 years later, or something like that. And, well, it's actually 1,043 years from now, from today. And you don't think that, you would think that the head of the Federation, this guy, would have some clue as to what Klingon history was like, and that being 400 years old, she would know what the heck she was doing, and she would know what the Klingons are about. But this guy had to explain it all to them. Well, they explain it to the audience, but they it's like it never occurred to these two people what it was that the Klingons had to do. And I'm sorry, again, the writers are looking at all those of us that have been watching this for 60 years, or in my case, I guess it would have been 45 years or whatever it is, however old I am, I don't care. I'm not going to tell you. You just have to guess. We've grown up. We know all about the Klingons, and we know what how they can solve their existential crisis. And the episode goes on, and they talk about again that Klingon boy and his family, and how he happened to end up in Starfleet Academy, because Starfleet is actually the enemy of the Klingons again. And basically the episode ends exactly the way I thought it would. Or the idea that I said, well, this needs to happen. And those of you that know Klingons and know the history of Star Trek, whatever, you probably came up with the exact same idea that I did, and said, and you'll say, well, this just needs to happen. And why doesn't somebody tell these people that, hey, just do this and this, and then this whole thing will be resolved? And again, the Klingon boy, the teenager, or I don't know if he's a teenager or a young adult now or whatever, but he needs to explain the Klingon history to these people that have been around for years. The one Lanthanite, who has been around for 400 years and should know better, how to resolve their existential crisis, the Klingons' existential crisis. And then they follow through with what he suggests, and everybody lives happily ever after. To me, I was like, well, wait a minute. They could have done this at the beginning of the episode and gone on to something else, and still talked about his childhood or whatever, but or not even brought up the existential crisis until the end, and then resolved it at the end. But oh no, they didn't do that. Anyway, like, subscribe, share, whatever. I've got check me out in the more section if you want. I've got influencers who influence me all the time about purchases that I make, things that I review. I was going to review something else today, but that episode just disturbed me so much I had to skip it for my Saturday video, and here it is. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.